Hi guys, welcome to today's practice. Just a reminder, you can tell me what you feel in the comments, or not, it's up to you. We're starting today in our child's pose, so big toes together, knees wide apart, sitting back on your heels, stretching your arms forwards, resting your head down on the ground if you can. Taking this moment to stretch out through your spine, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles. Taking this time also to focus on your breath, so deepening your inhale. A slight pause at the top before lengthening your exhale, getting rid of any fatigue or tension from your body. A slight pause at the bottom before starting the cycle again, deepening your inhale. Exhaling, releasing any stale air from your body. Taking this time to connect with your body, with your breath. Relaxing your body, preparing your mind and your body for today's practice. Following your breath as it moves in and out, feeling the sensations. From here, we are going to move on, so lifting ourselves up into our tabletop position. Our wrists are underneath our shoulders and knees are underneath our hips. We're just going to circle through some cat and cow, so lifting up your chin, your chest, your tailbone, and then rounding out through your spine, tucking your tailbone under, bringing your chin towards your chest. Just going from one to the other, warming up the back. A lot with our spine today. So inhaling, lifting the chest, exhale, rounding out through the back. You can start off with your moves fairly small, and as you get warmer, gradually making the moves slightly bigger, getting more mobility through your spine, opening up through your chest, loosening off through your shoulders, through your hips. Exhale, curving through the spine. Inhale, lifting the chest. Allowing the breath to control the speed of your move. From here, we're moving on. So looking over one shoulder and then over the other. We're twisting laterally through the waist and the spine now. Looking over one shoulder, looking over the other. This is called your nosy cat. Looking around. Working through the neck as well. Loosening off the sides of the waist, coming back to neutral, back to the middle. From here, let's push back into our child's pose with our lower body. You can stay in the tabletop position if it's more comfortable, but we're going to bring the fingertips of our right hand just behind our ear. We're going to take our elbow up to the sky, twisting through the body, and then trying to tap the elbow back down to the ground. Twisting, looking up to the sky, drawing the elbow up and tapping the elbow back down. So the reason our bum is sat down on our heels into our child's pose legs, if we can, is just to make the twist a little bit tighter. So you can do the same but in the tabletop position. We're still working through the spine in the same way. Do what feels best for your body. I do not want you to be sat here in pain as you twist around. We're working with our bodies, not against them. Twisting through the spine, opening up through the shoulder, opening up through the chest, and releasing exactly the same on the other side. So this time the left fingertips behind the ear. Taking the elbow, the shoulder back, twisting open and closing back down, tapping your elbow back to the ground. Twisting as fast or as slow as you are comfortable with. No need to rush through the move. We are still breathing, twisting through your waist. Jess. And releasing back down, just stretching out into a child's pose. We're coming into our striking cobra now. So we start in child's pose, we round through the spine, we drop our hips low, we lift up our chest into our cobra, and then push back into your child's pose. Rounding out through the back, dropping the hips low, lifting up the chest, pushing back to your child's pose. Rounding out, warming up more through your spine. It's just like a more exaggerated cat and cow. More work into the wrist and into the shoulders. More work into the hips as well. Engaging our root muscles to protect our back. Relaxing our shoulders away from our ears when we come into our cobra pose. And moving on, from here let's just lift up into our downward dog. So walking our hands further away from the body, curling the toes under, lifting the hips up high, lengthening through the spine, feet a hip distance apart as we ground the ball of one foot down and then the other. Lengthening up through the spine, tilting our sit bones up towards the sky. Maybe trying to bring your heels down on your exhale. But remember, it's more important to get the length through the spine rather than to get your heels grounded. Relaxing your head, relaxing your neck. You should be looking towards your ankles or towards your knees. We can stay still or we can add some more movement, pedaling through your heels. Stretching out more through the back of the legs. Maybe adding a little twist and stretching out through the shoulders as well. Twisting one way and twisting the other. Loosening off, releasing tension from the body, and coming back down into your child's pose, big toes together, knees wide apart, sitting back in your heels, stretching your arms out forwards. If your child's pose is too much, stay in your tabletop or come down to your rabbit pose. If you're in child's pose, we're going to walk our hands, our arms over towards the right side, getting a curve through the spine and more of a stretch through the left side of the body. Still trying to reach your fingertips far away. And then coming back through center, exactly the same, but taking our arms over towards the left side this time. Reaching far away with the hands, with the arms. Still keeping our bum back on our heels, curving through the body, stretching down the right side this time. And releasing back to center. Let's lift back up to our downward dog, exactly the same as before. But this time we're going to come into our dancing dog, so arms and legs straight, looking towards the hands, bringing our chest through our arms, dropping our hips low, and then pushing our hips back up high into our downward dog. So rounding into an upward dog, pushing back to a downward dog. Energizing the body, warming the body up more, working through the shoulders, the ankles, the hips, the wrists, the spine, stretching, working the entire body. Inhaling as we lift up our chest, exhaling, pushing our bum back up to the sky. This time we're coming down to rest in our rabbit pose, so holding onto our ankles if we can, trying to bring the top of our head down to the ground. Our bum is not down on our heels this time, and we are rounding out through our back. Getting a stretch into the shoulder blades. Our head is resting on the ground, using our hands to hold on to our legs for support, for balance. Still breathing deep into the body, deep into the lungs, and releasing back down. So there are a few options for this next move. We are coming into our puppy pose. So if you have some blocks nearby, we can use those. If you don't have blocks, you can use pillows. So the blocks are coming to rest on our chest, or our chest will be resting on the blocks, should I say. So the chest is coming down to rest on the blocks, and we are stretching our hands out forwards. We are looking towards our hands, and our bum is sticking up in the sky. Our knees are staying down, and we should feel a good stretch into the shoulders, and we're stretching through the spine. So you can stay here if this is enough for you, or we can take away a block. Exactly the same, the chest is coming down, stretching our arms out, pushing our bum up to the sky, into our puppy pose. Or our other option is to take all of the blocks away. If we can, the chest wants to come down to the ground. Our chest is resting on the ground, stretching our arms away, looking towards our hands. Our bum is still up in the sky. If we can, the knees are as close to being underneath the hips as we can. But it takes a lot of spine flexibility to be able to get there. Keep breathing. We can stay here, or we can come up into extended puppy as long as your chest is resting against something, whether it's the blocks or the floor. So curling the toes under, pushing into the legs, keeping our hips, our spine where they are, but pushing, extending into the legs, getting the legs straight. And releasing back down as best you can, laying down onto your belly. Into the prone position, stacking your hands one on top of the other, resting your head down. This is your prone resting position, which you can come back to whenever you need to. From here, we're building up into our locust pose. So working on our lower back first, engaging your mulla bandha, your root muscles. We're pointing through the entire leg and the toe as we try and lift one leg up as high as we can. And releasing the leg back down. Exactly the same with the other leg, lifting up high and lowering the leg back down. Working one leg and then the other. Our upper body is resting, our head is resting against our hands. We're firming our root muscles to protect our back. We're keeping the legs straight, or as straight as possible. And we are pointing out through the toes. So by pointing into the feet, the toes, we're engaging more of the muscles in the leg. And if you point out through the entire leg, then it keeps the leg straight. Lifting up high, working the glutes, working the hamstrings, working the hip flexors, working your lower back. We are still breathing. Lifting up as high as we can and holding for a fraction at the top. So we're not relying on momentum, just swinging our legs around. We are relying on the strength of our legs. We are controlling every aspect of the move. So from here, we are going to work both legs together. So we're going to bring our hands down and underneath to rest on the top of our thighs. It looks a little bit weird, but trust me. So our hands are palms facing up, pressing to the top of the thighs. With the hands, all we are going to do is push the legs, trying to get the legs up high. Firming our mulla bandha and then resting back down. Exactly the same, pressing the hands against the legs, helping lift the legs. Keeping the legs as straight as we can, pointing into the toes. Pushing the legs up high, supporting the legs. Last time here. And releasing your hands, resting down for a moment, relaxing through your root muscles. Bringing your breathing back to normal. From here, let's work on to the upper back. So this is your Japanese back strengthener. We're going to bring our fingertips to our temples. Our elbows are out wide, firming our root muscles. On our inhale, we lift up through center. Exhale, we're twisting over to one side. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, twisting over to the other side. Inhale, coming back to the middle. Exhale, lowering ourselves down. Exactly the same, so inhale, lift. Exhale, twisting over to one side, staying as high as you can. Inhale, back to the middle. Exhale, twisting around to the other side. Back to center, and exhale, lower. So we're going to repeat this move a few more times. So we're focusing on our breath because we're using our exhale to relax our body as we twist to the side. Inhale, charging back through the middle, re-energizing your body. We're also working with our breath to ensure that we are still breathing. And our breath controls the speed of the move, so we're trying to make our breath as long and smooth as possible. Because the slower we go, the harder the move will be, the more control we are going to need. Last time through, inhaling, lift. Exhaling, twisting to one side. Inhaling, back to center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. Inhaling, back to center. Exhale, releasing. Stacking your hands, resting your head down. Taking a moment to let go. Working through the lower back, let's bend our knees, and we're just going to drop our knees from one side to the other. Releasing any tension from our back, twisting through the waist, swishing our tail about. Releasing back down. So we're coming into our locust pose now. So option 1, if you don't have a block, interlacing your fingers behind your back. If you do have a block, then we can hold onto the block behind our back with both hands. Firming our root muscles, we're pressing away into the arms to lift up the chest, to pull our shoulders down. And then we're going to lift up our legs as well. Beautiful, trying to get our chest lifted, our legs lifted as high as they can be. From here, if you're holding the block, let's just rest it on the back, releasing our hands and taking our arms around and forwards. This is adding weight to the front of the body, so it's going to make it harder to keep your chest lifted. Look into your fingertips, keep lifting, keep breathing, and releasing back down, stacking your hands one on top of the other, resting your head. We're going to do this pose one last time. You can use the brick, you can interlace your hands. The option is yours. So I did it with a block the first time, so this time I'm just going to do it with my hands. So interlacing behind the back, firming the root muscles, pressing away with the arms, lifting up the chest first, and then bringing the legs in to join the party. Keeping my chest lifted, releasing the hands, stretching away first. And then circling my arms around and forwards, staying elevated, staying strong. And then a little bit of fun, swimming your arms, swimming your legs. It looks pretty funny. And and it's also strengthening. Relaxing back down. Still working through our back now. We're coming into our Sphinx pose. So hands are down. We're just going to swing our elbows in and under. So our forearms pressing down, elbows are pressing down, curving through the body, through the chest. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, getting the length along your neck. You can stay still, or we can add some movement with the neck, dropping one ear down to one shoulder and then the other ear down to the other shoulder. Tilting our head one side and to the other. Firming your Mula Bandha, still breathing, still curving through the chest. Feeling the stretch running along the neck. From here, we are going to bring our chin down towards our chest and then look up towards the sky, nodding our head up and down this time. Stretching through the front and the back of the neck. But we're still in our baby back bend. Working on the spine flexibility at the same time. Still working through the neck. This time let's look over one shoulder and then the other. Your nosy Sphinx now. We're all the nosy animals today. Keeping the rest of the body still as we isolate the work through the neck, looking over one shoulder and the other. And releasing back down, stacking your hands, resting your head. So that was your first back bend. We can stay with that. You do not need to move any further. Our second back bend is our baby cobra. So the hands are just underneath the shoulders or by the sides of the chest. We're pressing down with the hands. We're keeping our elbows tucked in tight, firming our root muscles. We're just lifting our chest off the ground and we're keeping a good bend in the elbows. So we're not lifting up too high. You can stay in center, or we can be a nosy baby cobra this time, looking over one shoulder, twisting through the waist, looking over the other shoulder. So we're still working through the neck, but we're working more into the waist and into the back now as we twist from one side to the other. Keep engaging your root muscles, your glutes, protecting your spine. We do not want to injure ourselves. And releasing back down, stacking your hands, resting your head. So that was your second back bend. We can stay with that if that is good for you, or you can come back to the back bend we've done before. If you want more though, we can come into our full cobra this time, so the hands are further away from the shoulders. We're pressing down through the arms, firming your Mula Bandha, keeping your hips grounded. Trying to get your arms fairly straight but keeping a soft bend. Curving your chest forwards, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Allowing your body to adjust here first, still breathing. If you feel okay though, you might want to try and walk the hands in just a little bit. Still lifting up with the chest, relaxing your shoulders down, still breathing. If you're still feeling pretty good, then you might want to try and walk your hands in a little bit more. Baby steps here, pressing down with the arms, keeping the soft bend in your elbows. Remember, we do not want our shoulders to be hanging like earrings by our ears. They are resting down away from your shoulders, keeping the length through the neck. Taking your gaze up to the sky. And releasing back down. Stacking your hands, resting your head. We have one last option with our back bends in the prone position, so you can stay with any of the back bends we have already done. Or this time, we can come up into our up dog. So our hands are coming by the sides of our chest. We are sliding and curving our body forwards, lifting up, pressing through the arms. This time the hips are elevated. We are pressing back through the legs so our knees are lifted off the ground as well. The top of the feet will be pressing down, So we're stretching through the front of the ankle as well, taking your shoulders away from the ears, sliding your shoulder blades down, curving your chest forwards, engaging your root muscles. Gaze is up to the sky. And releasing back down. From here, let's just push up into an up dog just so we can lift back to a down dog. Stretching back out through your spine. This time we're going to rock out through the shoulders. So we're coming forwards, curving through the back slightly, but not all the way, and pushing back into our down dog. So just curving enough forwards just to get a curve through the shoulders. Shaking your head, relaxing your neck. Looking towards your hands, let's walk our feet towards our hands into a forward fold. Relaxing your head, relaxing your neck. If it's more comfortable, then take a slight bend in the knees, that's fine. Or you can keep your legs straight and try and bring your weight into your toes. A shoulder stretch while we're here, interlacing your hands behind your back, pulling away with the arms and allowing them to drop down overhead. Releasing your hands. From here, let's come up into our gazing pose, hands to our shins, lengthening through our spine, lengthening through the neck, trying to get a flat back here. Our gaze is down to the ground. Try not to drop your chin towards your chest. We still want to lengthen out through the neck. Folding back down to the ground, hanging loose like a ragdoll. We can stay here or we can hook our first two fingers around the big toes, thumbs on the outside, widening your elbows, trying to fold more. Releasing your back after doing those back bends. Releasing your hands, rolling all the way up. Beautiful, now we're up to standing. So from here we are going to need to get ourselves a block if we have one. We're going to place it just between the feet. So we're squeezing on the block to make our legs work harder. If you don't have a block, no worries, you do not really need one, it just helps us sometimes, makes us work harder sometimes as well. So thumbs into the tailbone, drawing our elbows together. We want to lengthen up through the spine. We're trying to curve our chest back, so lengthening up, curving, drawing your elbows together, firming your root muscles, and trying your best not to push your hips too far forwards. Curving back as far as you can. We are lifting back up through the center, and then we are folding straight down towards the ground. Holding for a moment at the bottom, releasing your back, and then restacking back up through your spine. Thumbs come into the tailbone, elbows drawn together. We lengthen up through the spine before exhaling, curving back through the spine, through the body, firming your root muscles, trying not to push your hips forwards, coming back up through center, and releasing back down to the ground. So we're working forwards and backwards through our spine. There's no need to rush through the move as we go from one to the other. We always want to lengthen up through the spine to create the length before trying to curve backwards. So this is your standing camel pose. Our feet are hip distance apart or squeezing onto the block just to help with the balance. remember to keep breathing. We use our exhale, trying to relax our body further as we enter into a pose. Working through the back bend and then getting the counter pose with our forward fold straight away. Next time we're down in our forward fold, we're just going to hold there, shaking our head, relaxing our neck. Rolling ourselves back up to standing. We're going to move the block, if we have one, to the back edge of the mat now. We're coming into our warrior one. So we're going to start with our heels up on the block. We're going to turn our right foot out and we're going to step forwards with the left leg, squaring our hips towards the front edge of the mat. Our tailbone is tucked under, our core is strong. Our feet are about hip distance apart, lengthening your arms up to the sky, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears as we bend our left knee, entering into our warrior one, pushing into the back heel, stretching your arms, your fingertips straight up towards the sky, palms facing one another. You can take your gaze up to your fingertips. Our front knee is directly over the ankle, pushing into the back heel, so we're either pushing against the block, which helps us sink lower into the pose, or if you do not have the block, then you're pushing it back against the ground. It's slightly harder for you guys, but we can do it. From here, let's add some movement, so turning our palms facing forward, stretching into your fingertips, we're hinging from our hips. We exhale, reaching forwards, keeping your legs, your hips still. Inhaling, lifting our arms, lifting our chest back up to the top. Exhale, relaxing our body forwards, stretching forwards, keeping your spine long, keeping your arms by your ears. Staying strong through your legs as we lift back up to the top. Still pushing into the back heel, still keeping your front knee bent. Spreading through the toes to help with the balance. Working with your own breath and releasing your arms, stepping forwards. So we're going to do exactly the same but switching legs this time. So if you've got the block, putting our high heels back on, stepping with our heels up, the ball of the foot off, turning this time the left foot out and lunging forwards with the right foot. If you've got a dog there, be careful not to stand on her. Feet are hip distance apart. Just to help with our balance, stretching our arms up to the sky, relaxing our shoulders down, taking that bend in the right knee this time. Trying to get our knee directly over the ankle, pushing our back heel away. Our hips are still square towards the front, so if we firm our root muscles, it's going to help to lock the hips there. Stretching our arms up to the sky, palms are facing one another, stretching into your fingertips, and if you can, taking your gaze up to the sky. Still breathing as we turn our palms forwards, bringing back our hinging movement. So hinging from our hips, tipping forwards, lengthening from your fingertips all the way down into the back heel, getting a diagonal line through the body, and lifting your chest back up, lifting your arms back up to the top. Extending back up through center before going again, hinging forwards, exhaling. Inhaling, lifting back up to center. Re-energizing your warrior one. Before last time, hinging forwards. pressing back up to the top. Releasing back down, releasing your legs, shaking out through the shoulders. We're still standing, but we're not going to need anything on the mat. Working through your shoulders, fingertips to your shoulders. Imagine you've got a pencil on each elbow and we're trying to draw big circles with those pencils. So drawing those circles as big as you can, working through your shoulders, circling one way. Maybe trying to get your elbows to touch if you can. And then reversing the move, taking the elbows back the other way, still drawing out circles. So working the shoulders, stretching out the arms in line with the shoulders, turning the one palm one way and the other hand the other way, twisting around forwards, twisting around backwards, circling around through the palms, getting the rotation into the shoulders. Twisting one way, twisting the other way. And releasing, shaking out. Have a little loosen off. We're going to come down to the mat one more time. So making our way down, sitting our bum down. We're going to eventually need, if we've got them, a couple of blocks, maybe even a brick. If you don't have them, you can use pillows, that's fine. You can use sturdy books, that's great as well. So we're coming into a forward fold. We're starting with our knees bent, we're holding onto the legs, we're flexing through the feet, and we're walking the heels away. We're lengthening through our spine and then trying to fold down at the bottom if we can. We're trying to keep our chest on the legs as we walk the legs out, but there will come a point when we may have to lift the chest off, and that is fine. Holding in your forward fold. Remember, we want the belly button to touch first, and then our chest, then our chin, then our nose, and then our forehead. That is how we fold forwards. And releasing, rolling back up to the top. Bending your knees, let's just shuffle our bum towards our feet. We're going to roll down onto our spine now. Coming into our glute bridge, walking your feet as close to your bum as possible. Our arms are coming down by our sides, palms are facing down, pressing through the legs, firming through your mullah bandha as we lift our hips up high. When we're at the top, we might want to tuck under one shoulder and then the other. Pressing down with the feet but pushing up with the hips. We can stay here or we can interlace our hands behind our back, pressing down with our arms, helping the lift of the hips, opening up your chest wide, stretching out the front of your body, still breathing, still feeling strong. We can stay here or we can stretch our arms up to the sky and allow our arms to come up and overhead to the floor behind, turning your palms up to the sky, allowing all of the toxins to drain out of our body. Feeling the strength in the legs, the strength of the spine, the strength of your root muscles, the strength of your shoulders. Bringing your arms back over, lowering your spine back down, vertebrae by vertebrae, hugging your knees in towards your chest, just rolling around, rocking out through the back, easing out after your back bend. Hugging both knees in, on your exhale, lifting up nose towards knees. And releasing back down. From here we're going to look at our blocks. We're not just going to look at them, we're going to grab them if we've got them. So option 1, we can take 2 blocks and we can place them just underneath our lower back, our tailbone, so our hips are supported. Staying in our supported bridge. You can stay here. If you've got a pretty flexible spine or you're pretty tall, you might want to add something extra. So another block underneath the back, lifting up. We should feel supported, we should feel like we're not going to fall around anywhere. Option 3, if you want it, we can move the blocks away, and if we have one, instead we can use a brick on the higher side. It's going in roughly the same location into the tailbone. We should feel firm and supported. Because our brick has a smaller surface area, it means we have to work our core harder to stay up there. You can stay here with your arms down by your sides, or we can bring them up and overhead to the floor behind, just like last time. Allowing all the toxins to drain out of your body. Our chest is wide open, we are still breathing. If you want to take it a little bit further, we can practice our wheel pose, so stretching your arms up to the sky, bending at the elbows, the hands come down by the sides of the head, fingertips are pointing back towards your feet. Pressing down through the legs, firming your mula bandha, pressing down through your arms, pushing your hips up high, lifting up into your full wheel pose. Remember, when you're here, to keep breathing. We need a lot of shoulder strength, a lot of back flexibility. If you've got this, you want a challenge, then try and extend out, straightening through the legs. So you can take the legs further away from the body, and if you can, trying to bring the feet together. Firming through the root muscles, still breathing. When you've had enough, we can release, lowering ourselves back down. Remember, if you've got the block there, to move it away. If you're on your supports, then just moving away one support at a time. When you reach the ground, just hugging your knees in towards your chest, wrapping your arms around your knees, hugging your knees down. Lifting up, nose towards knees. And pulling against the knees, lifting yourself up into any comfortable seated position. Resting your hands on your knees with your palms facing up, you can close your eyes. We're just going to roll the shoulders forwards and then rolling the shoulders backwards. Rolling forwards and rolling backwards. Relaxing through your shoulders, through your upper back, through your chest. And then holding still. Our eyes are closed, our weight is back on our sit bones, our body is relaxing. Taking this time to focus back on your breath, allowing your mind and your body to be calm and still as we deepen our inhale and lengthen your exhale. Taking this time to be here, present in this moment, to focus on nothing else but your breath. On your next inhale, circle your arms up towards the sky, palms meeting at the top, and exhale lower. Inhaling calm, exhaling any negativity. One more time. This time pausing when your hands meet your third eye. May you always have positive thoughts. Lower your fingertips towards your lips. May you always speak kind words to others, but more importantly to yourself. And lower your hands towards your heart center. May you always have pure intentions. Bow your chin towards your chest. Thank your body for today's practice, and blink open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for joining me today. Very nice work, team, especially if you did your wheel pose. We love a good wheel pose here. And of course, Jessica was around. We've got to see a final bit of Jessica. She was quite tired today. She did a lot of sleeping. She did have a big walk in the morning. Thank you for joining, guys. Stay safe, have fun, keep practicing yoga. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.